this dirty old part of the city where the sun refused to shine.
Growing up, Mom and Dad would show us a lot of love, including tough love. When we were really bad, hypothetically, say, putting your naked sister outside and locking the door, or telling her the medicine cabinet was full of candy, she would give us a cold shower, clothes on and everything. Mom, love you, and now you know why Petersons hate cold water.
One of my favorite memories of Mary Helen is when she and my mom were having a discussion after Jeff and I got engaged. Mary Helen explained to my mom how lucky she was to be getting her wonderful firstborn child as a son-in-law. It turned into a bit of a debate with my mom explaining to Mary Helen what a lucky woman she was to be getting a daughter-in-law in me. Ultimately, we have all been extremely blessed.
My favorite memory about Grandma is every time she told the story of when I was born. Grandma desperately wanted to be a grandma before she turned 50, and I was born 6 days before that birthday. Every time she told the story, she said how she was jumping on couches, bouncing off the walls, and wearing a camera as a necklace. I love that story because Grandma was so happy every time she told it.
My favorite memory of Grandma was when I decided to compliment her 12 hours in the kitchen cooking her Irish dinner by standing in the kitchen table, or in front of the kitchen table, saying, 1 disgusting, 2 disgusting, 3 disgusting. She talked about it all the time, and she even brought it up last week. Sorry, Grandma.
One of Grandma's favorite traditions was organizing the grandchildren to put on a holiday Christmas show. One year, she gave me the role of the 4 calling birds, and I misinterpreted it and made it the 4 falling birds. By far the best Christmas show of all time.
My favorite memory of Grandma was when she jumped in Eric and Jen's pool fully clothed. She told me that she was sitting on the poolside and that she wasn't going to be able to get up, and there was only one way to go, and that was in.
I think back to when I was younger and I can't remember what I did, but my mom yelled at me and said, "Tim, you're grounded for a week." Now, despite her being this great math teacher, always running formulas in her head, she wasn't so good at the grounding calculation, because when you're grounded for a week, that really meant you're grounded for about an hour. And likewise, if you're grounded for 2 weeks, well, that meant you're grounded for 2 hours. And if you did something really, really bad, and you're grounded for life, well, that meant you're grounded for 2.5 hours. And that's my mom, the softie for her kids.
She was so committed to her family. Nothing proved that more to me than the day that I gave birth to Noah, and she got on a plane and flew to Ohio so that she could spend the first day of her new grandson's life with him. And that, if that's not commitment, I don't know what is.
My mom was known for crying during things like the Kleenex and the Depends undergarment commercials. About 20 years ago, we had rented the movie Philadelphia together, and she, of course, was crying, and I was making fun of her for crying. And she said to me, "But Tom Hanks's family, they are just like ours. The love and support that they give to each other, that is exactly how our family is." Well, I didn't tell it to her then, but Mom, as usual, you were right.
Mary Helen had a remarkable ability to feel everyone as if they were superstars.
On my birthday, Grandma always used to come out with us for breakfast, and I would always get the same thing, chocolate chip pancakes. She would get something different every time.
My favorite memory of Grandma is when we went to Mexico, and in the morning, when my family was asleep, I always used to go to her room to eat waffles.
My favorite memory of my mom is on one of our many, many trips that I used to take with my mom and my kids. She had to see what all the hubbub was about going down a water slide. So she managed to climb all the stairs all the way to the top, got on the water slide, got down to the bottom, and fell into the 3 feet of water, and the lifeguard had to jump in and save her because she couldn't figure out which way was up.
My favorite memory of Mary Helen was when Chris was pregnant with Allie. We were moving out of our first apartment, so Chris couldn't do much, but Mary Helen decided to take one last trip through the apartment and walks out holding a broom, and I looked at her and I go, "Well, that was fitting."
My favorite memory of Grandma is when I was little and I would sleep over at her house. Instead of sleeping in my room, I would sleep in between her and Grandpa so we could cuddle, and sometimes we'd even kick Grandpa out of bed because it just got a little too crowded.
My favorite memory of Grandma is when she went on the Make-A-Wish cruise with me.
My favorite memory of Grandma is when we went to Lake Geneva and watched fireworks from the boat.
One of my favorite memories of my mom is a couple years ago at a hockey tournament in Michigan. She, of course, had to bring her own Cosmos because she couldn't trust anyone else with her recipe. She also had to bring extra Cosmos because she was going to share it with all the other hockey moms. Well, of course, by the end of the tournament, all of the moms and most of the dads were hanging out in a 70-year-old grandma's room because she was the coolest person there.
My favorite memory of Mom goes back to when we were getting married. We went to Vale's bridal shop to pick out her dress. Then we went out to lunch, and it was just a normal lunch. And it was the first time I called her Mom. And she started to cry. And I knew at that moment I was part of the family.
My favorite memory of me and Grandma is when I would look forward to seeing her every day after school. She would always help me with my math homework, and then she'd make me dinner. I always felt like I was loved when I was with her.
My favorite memory of Grandma is whenever I would play sports. Hockey, football, baseball, whatever. I always loved looking at her up in the stands. She really made me feel like a superstar.
My favorite memory of Mom is when we went to Jersey Shore on vacation, thanks to Cousin Beth. And Mom was really excited about the bikes. She really wanted to go on a bike ride. So I think I got first dibs, Annie and Kai Parker. We were riding the streets around Jersey Shore, and Mom was leading the pack. She looked back. We were right on the streets, right by the curb. And as she looked back, she fell on the bike and couldn't move. So of course we panicked. We all ran to her to see if she was okay, and she looked up and said, "I'm okay. I'm just a little embarrassed. Now can somebody please get me up now?" So thanks for that memory.
My favorite memory of Mary Helen is when she recently asked me to spend the night and I didn't have any more clean clothes. So she decided that it would be a good idea to borrow her underwear. And I said that, I'd pass on that. So she said she would call Marcia and have Marcia bring me some underwear. I said again, I'll pass on that. And so then she had another brilliant idea. She decided to call Eric and ask him about the underwear. So here is the audio of that.
Well, hello, it's your mother. Call back whenever you're in a mood for whatever you're in a mood for. Okay, I'm here. I'm going to be here for a while, it seems. So I don't know what you got in hockey tonight or not hockey tonight or whatever. But Annie needs to borrow some of your underwear. And everybody thinks this is really funny, but anyway, we'll talk to you. Give me a call, okay, Eric? Bye.
My favorite memory of Grandma is when we went to the strawberry farm to pick strawberries.
My favorite memory about Grandma is when we play iPad with her.
My favorite memory of Auntie was when I was visiting from college and got to stay at their house overnight. Auntie and I spent the whole morning just sitting at the kitchen table and really getting to know each other and laughing and smiling.
Favorite memory of Mary Helen is about 2 Christmases ago when she was around all her grandkids and just having the time of her life watching all her kids opening their presents.
My favorite moment with Auntie Grandma is when she would always come over for my birthday dinner.
My favorite memory of Auntie Grandma is her humor during the parties.
The first time I met Mary Helen
She was a freshman, I was a sophomore at Chicago Teachers College. We were captains of our bowling teams, which was through the Newman Club of the school. We were both keeping score manually because there were no machines at that time that kept the score automatically. So I couldn't add 2 and 2 together to save my life when she finally says, "I'll keep score, I'm a math major." And I said, "Okay, but I'm a KGP major," which is a kindergarten primary major. As she had a strange look on her face like, "Who's that guy?" 3 years later, she's looking at the requirements of the various majors in the college, and she says to me, "Rick, did you know KGP was only open to women?" And I said, "It's about time you caught that joke."
One word to describe Grandma is she is cool.
Awesome. Best friend. Wow.
Thoughtful.
Understanding.
Silly.
Woody.
Caring.
Caring.
Unique. Supportive.
My hero.
Selfless.
Generous.
Supportive.
Beautiful.
Young at heart.
Selfless.
Angelic.
Unforgettable.
My best friend.
Sarcastic.
Tough.
Emotional.
Softy.
Committed.
Funness. Maximus.
Best wife I ever had.
Full of life. Vibrant.
Cosmos.
Ooh la la, Mary Helen.
Vibrant. Fun.
Energetic.
Vivacious. Energetic.
Straightforward.
Unpredictable. Vivacious. Admirable.
Zinger.
Patient.
Tolerant.
Beautiful.
Loving. Energetic.
Gracious.
Animated.
Amazing.
Fun.
Sisterhood. Vivacious.
Fun.
Fabulous.
Auntie.
Joyous. Beautiful. Loving.
Loving wife, mom, grandma, and friend.
Hypothetically, say, putting your naked sister outside and locking the door. Putting your naked sister outside and locking the door.
Putting your naked sister outside and locking the door.
Oh, come on. That was a long time ago. Let me in.